What if I told you, the secret to living past 100 isn't locked away in some fancy medical textbook, or hidden in your family's DNA? What if it's right there in front of you, in the quiet moments, in the small daily choices, in the way you treat yourself, and the way you treat others? Think about it for a second. We've all heard someone say, "She's just blessed with good genes," or, "He's lucky he lasted that long." But deep down, haven't you ever wondered, is it really just luck? Or could it be something more? Something simpler, and far more powerful than we give credit to? Maybe it's in the way someone wakes up every morning with purpose. Maybe it's in the way they keep their hands busy, their hearts open, and their minds curious. Maybe it's not just about adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever sat beside someone in their 90s? Watched them move slowly, speak gently, and smile like they've figured something out the rest of us are still trying to learn? And you couldn't help but wonder, what's their secret? Well, today, you're about to find out. A woman, Evelyn, just turned 103 years old. Yes, you heard that right. 103. She's sharp. She's sweet. She's still full of life. And when she was asked the question everyone wants to know, what's your secret to living this long and this well? Her answer wasn't what you'd expect. It wasn't some complicated diet or expensive supplement. It wasn't, "Don't eat carbs," or "Run 5 miles a day." It was simple. Honest. And a little surprising. And here's the best part, you can do it too. No matter your age. No matter your background. These are things you or your loved ones could start doing today. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through Evelyn's 5 personal secrets to longevity. The things she's done every single day that she believes kept her going through decades of joy, pain, change, and growth. By the end, you won't just know what she did, you'll understand why it matters. You'll walk away with small, powerful shifts you can make in your own life, or pass along to someone you care about. Because aging doesn't have to be something we fear. It can be something we honor. Something we embrace. Something we prepare for with love and intention. So let's talk about what it really means to live a long life, and to live it well. But before we dive in, do me a favor. If you believe aging can be beautiful, if you believe our elders have wisdom worth listening to, leave a comment below that simply says, "Long life." And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, because here, we celebrate every wrinkle, every story, every lesson the years have given us. Let's begin. So, let's begin with Evelyn's very first secret. It's not flashy. It's not expensive. But it's something that gave her a reason to open her eyes each morning, with clarity, with peace, and with joy. A daily purpose. And a simple routine. Evelyn wakes up every morning at exactly 6 a.m. Not because she has to. Not because someone tells her to. But because she wants to. Because she has something she looks forward to. She stretches her arms, smiles softly to herself, and walks to the window to check on her garden. She waters each plant carefully. Her geraniums, her roses, her small patch of herbs, talking to them as if they were old friends. And then, she sits down at her kitchen table, picks up a pen, and writes in her journal. Sometimes a prayer. Sometimes a memory. Sometimes a simple note of gratitude. She's done this every day for over 60 years. Now, you might be thinking, that's lovely, but what does it have to do with living longer? The answer is everything. See, having a daily purpose, no matter how small, does something powerful to the human spirit. It tells the body, you're needed. It tells the heart, you still matter. And it tells the mind, there's something waiting for you tomorrow. Science backs this up. Studies have shown that older adults who have a reason to get up in the morning, whether it's tending to a garden, caring for a pet, writing, volunteering, or simply being present for their grandchildren, have significantly lower risks of heart disease, stroke, and even cognitive decline. It's not magic. It's meaning. But here's the thing. Most people assume that when someone slows down in old age, it's because they're tired. Because their body's giving up. But often, that's not true. More often than not, it's the lack of structure, the absence of anything to look forward to, that leads to that heaviness we associate with aging. Think about it. When the days start to blur together, when no one expects anything of you, when nothing needs doing anymore, it becomes all too easy to drift. That's why Evelyn's morning ritual is so important. It grounds her. It anchors her. And it's a reminder that life, even at 103, still has rhythm, still has purpose. And that's the takeaway here, for you, for your loved ones. Daily purpose doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. A little walk around the block. A hobby you've always loved. A phone call to check in on a friend. A book left half-finished, waiting to be picked up again. Encourage it. Make space for it. Celebrate it. Because when you create even a small reason to get up in the morning, the body follows. The mind brightens. The heart lifts. But Evelyn's story doesn't stop there. Because purpose, as beautiful as it is, isn't the only thing keeping her going. There's another secret, one that too many people overlook in their later years. One that's just as vital. And it begins with a simple cup of tea. And good conversation. Let's talk about it. Now, Evelyn's second secret, is one that most people don't realize is a matter of life and death. It's not a pill. It's not a workout. It's connection. Real, human connection. Every Sunday afternoon, without fail, Evelyn has tea with her neighbors. Rain or shine. Winter or summer. Whether she's feeling great or just a little tired. She sets the table, puts on her favorite floral teapot, and opens the door with that same quiet smile. Sometimes it's just 15 minutes. A quick chat about the weather. A story from the old days. A shared laugh about how things used to be cheaper and simpler. But to Evelyn, those 15 minutes are golden. They remind her she's not alone. They remind her she belongs. They remind her that life still wants something from her. And here's the powerful truth behind that simple habit: loneliness is one of the most dangerous conditions an older adult can face. More dangerous than smoking. More damaging than obesity. It affects the immune system, raises blood pressure, increases the risk of dementia, and can cut years off a person's life. Let that sink in. Something as quiet and invisible as loneliness can shorten your life. But the flip side is just as powerful: strong, meaningful social ties, whether with family, friends, neighbors, or even kind strangers, can actually extend your life. Not by adding more medication, but by adding more moments that matter. Now, here's a common misunderstanding. People often assume that older adults just want to be left alone. That they've grown distant, that they prefer solitude, that they've simply checked out. But more often than not, they're just waiting. Waiting for someone to reach out. Waiting for someone to sit beside them, listen, laugh, and share a moment of warmth. Sometimes, all it takes is an invitation. That's why Evelyn's Sunday tea is so much more than a ritual, it's medicine for the soul. And that's your takeaway here. Whether you're in your golden years, or you love someone who is, connection matters. Start small. A weekly phone call. A shared puzzle. A visit to a local community center. Even something as simple as sitting together in silence, holding hands, and just being there. These are not small things. These are life-sustaining threads in the fabric of aging well. So if you've been wondering what you can do, what really makes a difference, start with presence. Start with companionship. Start with love in action. And as Evelyn reminds us, never underestimate the healing power of a warm cup of tea and good company. But connection isn't the only surprise she shares. Because alongside those heartfelt chats and neighborly visits, Evelyn also follows an approach to food that might just make you rethink everything you've heard about modern diets. It's not about cutting things out. It's not about counting calories. It's something simpler. And far more joyful. Let's talk about what's really on her plate. Now, let's step into Evelyn's kitchen. You won't find anything trendy here. No fancy powders. No complicated meal plans. Just a quiet routine, and a bowl of something familiar. Every morning, for as long as she can remember, Evelyn starts her day with the same breakfast, a warm bowl of oatmeal. Sprinkled with cinnamon. Topped with slices of banana, or whatever fruits in season. No sugar. No gimmicks. Just real food. Simple. Satisfying. Steady. And she's done this not for years, but for decades. Now, you might be thinking, is that really a secret to living past 100? Yes. Because the power of Evelyn's diet isn't in what's on her plate, it's in how she eats. No wild swings. No constant changes. Just consistency. And moderation. See, when it comes to aging gracefully, many people believe you need to chase superfoods, cut out entire food groups, or follow strict diets tailored to age. But here's the truth. Drastic dietary changes in older adults can actually do more harm than good. The aging body thrives on rhythm. It thrives on foods it recognizes, nutrient-rich, easy to digest, and above all, comforting. Evelyn's meals are simple, a bowl of soup with vegetables from her garden. A slice of whole grain toast with a little butter. Baked fish, roasted sweet potatoes, and steamed greens. No counting calories. No high-protein supplements. Just whole foods. In light portions. Served slowly, and savored fully. And hydration, something so easily overlooked, is a quiet hero in her routine. She sips water throughout the day, never waiting until she's thirsty. Now, here's where many families get it wrong. They try to overhaul an elderly loved one's diet overnight, thinking they need protein shakes, low-carb everything, or strict low-sodium rules. But that kind of shock to the system can lead to discomfort, loss of appetite, or worse, malnutrition. What the body really craves as it grows older, is stability. That's why Evelyn's oatmeal isn't just breakfast, it's a form of nourishment that feeds her body and comforts her soul. It's something she looks forward to. It tells her, you're safe. You're cared for. You're home. So, what can you take away from this? Encourage meals that feel familiar. That are warm, gentle, and filled with memories. Think soft-cooked grains, fresh fruits, steamed veggies, light proteins. Nothing extreme. Nothing forced. Just good food, served with love. Let your meals be steady companions, not rigid rules. Because the joy of eating, especially in our later years, is just as important as the nutrition itself. But food alone isn't the full picture. Because Evelyn, even at 103, still moves with surprising ease. And no, she doesn't have a gym membership. She's never done high-intensity workouts. But what she does instead, is something so simple, so overlooked, and yet so deeply powerful. Let's take a walk with her. Now imagine this. The sun has barely risen. The air is crisp, even biting on winter mornings. But there she is, Evelyn, wrapped in her old wool cardigan, carefully lacing up her shoes. She steps outside, into her garden. No rush. No pressure. Just a slow, deliberate walk around the little stone path she laid decades ago with her late husband. She pauses by the roses. Stretches her arms overhead. Breathes deeply. Then walks again, one soft step at a time. She's done this, every morning, for over 50 years. No fitness tracker. No high-intensity routine. Just gentle, intentional movement. Every single day. And science backs her up. Low-impact movement, like walking, stretching, or light gardening, boosts circulation, keeps joints flexible, and improves balance. It also reduces stress hormones and increases feel-good chemicals in the brain. It's one of the most powerful tools we have to support graceful aging. But here's the kicker. The greatest risk isn't falling, it's not moving at all. There's this misconception that as people get older, they should take it easy. That physical activity becomes too dangerous. So the walks stop. The stretching ends. The chair becomes home. But here's what happens then: the muscles weaken. The balance fades. The energy drops. And suddenly, what was once simple, getting up from a chair, walking to the mailbox, even cooking, becomes hard. That's why Evelyn keeps moving. Not to build muscle or break records. But to keep living on her terms. Her morning walk isn't just about the body, it's about presence. About waking up her senses. About reminding herself, I'm still here. So, what can you do, or encourage a loved one to do? Start with 5 minutes. Stretch in a chair. Reach for the sky. Move the legs, rotate the wrists, lift the arms slowly. Take a walk down the hallway. Or to the front porch. Tai Chi, chair yoga, even dancing to a favorite old tune in the living room, these aren't just movements. They're medicine. They keep the body supple. The mind alert. The heart open. And remember, movement doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. It just has to be consistent. But as powerful as gentle movement is, Evelyn insists. There's one secret that surpasses them all. More than what you eat. More than who you talk to. More than how you move. She says this is what truly kept her going through heartbreak, illness, loneliness, and every change that 103 years can bring. It's the one thing she holds closest to her heart. The final secret, to not just a long life, but a joyful one. Let's talk about that. You might think that after a century of life, someone would have seen it all. But Evelyn? She's still curious. Every morning, after her walk and that warm bowl of oatmeal, she sits by the window with her reading glasses. She reads. Sometimes the newspaper, sometimes a library book. She follows world events, even if they confuse or frustrate her. And she asks questions. Always questions. Why do people rush so much these days? What's happening in that part of the world I read about yesterday? Can you show me again how to send a picture on this phone? At 1:03, Evelyn still writes thank you letters to her grandchildren. Not texts. Not emails. Real letters. Written by hand, with stories, with blessings, with love. Sometimes, she writes poems too. Simple verses about flowers. About birds on her windowsill. About the memories that still live inside her like warm candlelight. Now, science tells us something remarkable: the brain doesn't stop growing. Not in your 60s. Not in your 80s. Not even in your 100s. As long as you feed it, with learning, with joy, with wonder, it stays alive. Mental stimulation keeps the neurons firing. But it's not just about brain health. It's about heart health. Emotional resilience. Inner peace. And gratitude. Oh, that's Evelyn's favorite. She doesn't just thank people. She thanks the morning light. The warm socks she slips into. The soup on the stove. The quiet moments when nothing is wrong and everything just is. Now here's the thing, many people believe aging means slowing down, shutting off, fading away. They say, I'm too old to learn that. My memory's not what it used to be. Or, there's no point anymore. But Evelyn would tell you, that mindset is the real danger. Not age. Not wrinkles. Not forgetfulness. Because curiosity is life. And when you pair that with gratitude, when you notice the small gifts in your day, and ask why, and say thank you, something powerful happens inside. You don't just grow older. You grow wiser. You grow lighter. You grow freer. So what can you do? Read something new. Watch a documentary that sparks your interest. Ask your grandchild what they learned today. Write down one thing, just one, that made you smile. Because when your mind stays open, your spirit stays alive. And Evelyn, she is the perfect proof of that. But now that we've walked through her 5 secrets, purpose, connection, nourishment, movement, and curiosity, it's time to ask the real question. What does Evelyn's story really teach us about aging with dignity and joy? Let's go deeper. It's not easy, is it? Watching our parents grow slower. Seeing the sparkle in their eyes dim just a little. Or noticing in the mirror that we've changed too, a few more lines, a little less energy, time passing quietly, almost without asking. Aging can stir something deep inside us. Fear. Worry. Maybe even sadness. Because it makes us confront what we don't like to think about, that everything changes. That we don't stay the same. But Evelyn's story. Her life. It's a gentle reminder that getting older isn't the end of anything. It's the beginning of something else. Something quieter. Something richer. Something incredibly human. She shows us that aging isn't something to be feared. It's something to be lived, deeply. With a full heart and an open mind. It's not about dreading the number on a birthday cake. It's about cherishing the sunrise. It's about loving someone enough to write them a letter. It's about choosing to wake up and stretch, even when your joints ache. It's about asking questions when the world feels unfamiliar, and smiling anyway. Evelyn never chased youth. She never feared growing old. She just kept living, with curiosity, with gratitude, with grace. And you? You can do the same. Whether you're 30 or 70 or somewhere in between, you can begin today. Wake up tomorrow and write one sentence in a journal. Call someone just to hear their voice. Read something new. Take 5 minutes to move your body. Or sit in stillness and count the things you're thankful for. Because those little moments, they aren't little at all. They build a life. They build a legacy. And maybe, like Evelyn, one day you'll look back not just on how long you lived, but how beautifully. Here's the truth, there's no perfect formula for aging. No single right way. But there is meaning. There is joy. And yes, there is hope. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need to show up for the life you still have. Fully. Lovingly. Gratefully. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real secret to 103 years, and beyond. So, let's take a breath and remember what Evelyn showed us. She didn't rely on magic. She didn't chase fads or try to outrun time. She lived with intention. With love. With rhythm. To recap, her 5 secrets to reaching 103 with joy in her heart and strength in her step were simple, but powerful. First, she found daily purpose. She started every morning the same way, watering her plants, writing in her journal, anchoring herself in something meaningful. Second, she nurtured social bonds. Even just 15 minutes of tea and laughter kept her spirit light and her heart full. Third, she stayed committed to a simple, consistent diet. Oatmeal, fruit, and balance, not trends or restrictions. Fourth, she moved her body gently every day. Not with heavy workouts, but with intentional movement, walks, stretches, a little dance in the kitchen when no one was looking. And finally, she stayed curious and grateful. She read, she wrote, she asked questions, and she never stopped finding things to be thankful for. These aren't just habits. They're invitations. Invitations to live fully, to age beautifully, to care deeply. Now I'd love to know. Which of these habits do you already practice? Or maybe, which one do you want to start today? Is it waking up with a purpose? Reaching out to someone you've lost touch with? Eating a little more simply? Stretching your arms and legs just a little each morning? Or maybe just saying, thank you, out loud to life, even for the smallest things. Go ahead and share in the comments. Your voice matters here. And your journey, wherever you are on it, is worth honoring. And if Evelyn's story touched something in you today, if it reminded you that aging isn't a slow fade, but a steady bloom, then give this video a like. And consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This channel is a place where we celebrate aging, not fear it. Where we listen to stories, learn from the past, and grow wiser together. So whether you're caring for someone older, or you are the one walking the aging path yourself, this space is for you. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Thank you for honoring Evelyn's story, and maybe even seeing your own in it. Let's keep going forward, one gentle step at a time. Let's grow older with grace, with wisdom, and most importantly, with heart. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and keep holding on to the beauty in every day.